The great hall of the Galactic Council was a cathedral of light and shadow. Towering bioluminescent pillars pulsed softly, casting an eerie, ever-shifting glow over the gathered delegates. Alien forms of every conceivable shape and size occupied. The tiered seats' tentacles curled, eyes blinked from multiple sockets, wings twitched nervously. The air vibrated with tension, a low murmur of alien languages, weaving in and out like a restless tide at the far end. The human delegation sat quietly, humble in appearance, but with an undercurrent of something sharper. They were outnumbered and outgunned in every way the galaxy measured. Their pale skin and simple uniforms made them look fragile, even insignificant. Many delegates whispered, their eyes dismissive, primitive, weak. A forgotten branch of the galactic tree hissed. The Zelveran ambassador to his neighbor, his voice dripping with contempt. But the humans said nothing. Their lead ambassador, a calm woman named Lyra Cade, observed in silence, her gaze steady beneath her dark hood. They knew what they were up against, centuries of disdain, countless whispered rumors, and the dangerous arrogance of the galaxies. Old powers. Suddenly, the vast chamber flickered. The bioluminescent pillars dimmed for a heartbeat. The great holographic map in the Centaura, swirling constellation of stars and fleets glitched and blacked out. A wave of gasps and startled murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Security breach," barked the council marshal, his voice sharp as he ordered alien guards to move toward the source of the disruption. In the moment of confusion, Lyra's eyes flickered with something colder calculation. The council chamber plunged into near darkness. The murmurs grew louder, thick with suspicion and fear. Was this sabotage? Was someone here working against the fragile peace? A faint electronic hum rose from the human delegation's table, subtle, almost imperceptible. Lyra reached beneath the table, fingers brushing against a small, sleek device. No one noticed, she thought. Moments later, power surged back. The holographic map reassembled, but something was different. New coordinates blinked ominously in the uncharted edges of human space. The chamber fell silent. "An attack," whispered the Allery delegate, her many eyes wide with dread. "On a human colony?" Lyra stood, her voice calm but steel-edged. This act was calculated to provoke, to draw humanity out as prey. But the galaxy has underestimated what it means to awaken a cornered species. As alien leaders exchanged uneasy glances, a sharp alert sounded on Lyra's wrist console. The transmission from the distant colony cut off abruptly. No distress signal, no final cries. Just silence. The chamber's atmosphere thickened like a storm about to break. "We will not be the galaxy's forgotten," Lyra said quietly. "Humanity will respond, and when we do, the universe will see how wrong it was to dismiss us." The council's smug arrogance was about to meet a storm it had never imagined. Outside, the shadows lengthened beneath the towering pillars, and in the silence that followed, countless eyes turned toward humanity with something new, a flicker of fear. The crimson sky burned above the remote human colony of Arden Prime. Smoke curled into the air, twisting like ghostly fingers into the thickening dusk. Explosions shattered the eerie silence, their echoes bouncing off jagged rocks and scorched earth. Flames licked hungrily at shattered buildings, reducing homes and research labs to smoldering ruins. Amid the chaos, a handful of survivors scrambled through the ash-choked air, their breaths ragged, their faces streaked with soot and sweat. Commander Jara Voss barked orders, her voice cutting through the cacophony like a blade. "Regroup at Sector 5. Medics and engineers, fall back, secure the evac pods." But it was too late. Communications flickered. Then, with a sharp crackle, the colony's distress signal abruptly cut out. Silence swallowed the channel, unknown to the attackers. Their raid had been timed perfectly, just as a nearby human fleet finished covert mobilization, hidden behind the veil of uncharted space. The aggressors believed this outpost was a minor, thorn an inconvenient nuisance, easily snuffed out. They were dead wrong. In the depths of the void, the human flagship Resolute hummed with controlled energy. Captain Elias Wren stood before the command console, eyes locked on the data feed streaming from Arden Prime now, ominously silent. His jaw clenched. We've lost contact. Prepare to jump to Sector Delta 7. This ends now. Around him, officers moved with practiced efficiency. The ship was a marvel of adaptive technology, its hull shifting with nanofibers, weapons modulating energy with unpredictable bursts. This was no mere military vessel. It was a warning. Back on the scorched surface, Jara and her team fought tooth and nail, not just for survival, but for time. Time for Resolute to arrive. Time for humanity to remind the galaxy that their patience was not weakness. Explosions rocked the ground beneath them as enemy units closed in. Alien raiders, sleek, ruthless, and relentless, prowled like predators in the fading light, their multi-jointed limbs glinting with lethal precision. Their leader, a tall figure draped in dark armor, signaled with a swift motion, "Finish." Then Jara glanced at her dwindling team, then upward toward the black sky. Her voice dropped to a fierce whisper, "Hold, for Earth." Suddenly, the void above shimmered with light. The Resolute blinked into the system, its presence announced by a sudden burst of energy waves that rippled through space like shock waves. Alien sensors flared, their weapons locking on, but Resolute moved like a phantom, weaving through asteroid debris with impossible agility. From its hull erupted searing pulses of energy, dismantling enemy frigates with surgical precision. The tide shifted in an instant. Back on the ground, Jara's radio crackled to life. "Command to all units, reinforcements have arrived. Prepare to counterattack." A slow, fierce grin spread across her face. Finally, they'll learn why we were underestimated. But the silence that had cut the distress signal was not empty. Somewhere deep in the shadows, unseen eyes watched the unfolding battle. Observers who knew that humanity's retaliation was only the beginning of something far greater and far more dangerous. The void was a sprawling graveyard of shattered ships and drifting wreckage. Stars blinked coldly through the debris as the remnants of the alien fleet scattered like frightened prey. But amid the chaos, the human armada moved with relentless precision, an unstoppable tide of steel and light. Commander Reeves stood on the bridge of the Resolute, eyes narrowing at the holographic battlefield spinning above the console. The enemy fleet was faltering, their formations broken. But Reeve knew this was only the beginning. "Enemy frigate 3-2 is trying to flank our left," his tactical officer warned, fingers dancing over the controls. Reeves' voice was calm, but unforgiving. "Deploy interceptors. Cut off their escape." Outside the viewport, sleek human fighters surged forward, weaving between asteroids with deadly grace. Beams of energy streaked through space, painting the darkness with violent bursts of blue and red. But the enemy was no pushover. From the shattered remnants of their flagship emerged a massive warship, the Viarak Warlord, its hull scarred and smoking but bristling with weapons. It unleashed a torrent of plasma fire, tearing through human cruisers with brutal efficiency. The bridge shook with every hit. Alarms blared, red lights flickered. "Shields down to 30%, shouted the engineer, sweat pouring down his brow. Reeves' eyes hardened. "Evasive maneuvers. Target their command core. We end this today." Suddenly, a surge of interference scrambled their sensors. The holographic map flickered wildly, momentarily blind to the warlord's true position. "Electronic warfare, someone's jamming us," the communications officer yelled. Reeve clenched his fists. "Switch to manual targeting. We don't lose our edge." Outside, the battle intensified. Fighters spiraled in tight dogfights, energy blasts tearing the void. The warlords massive. Guns blazed, but human ships darted through the storm like shadows, fast, unpredictable, deadly. Reeves' mind raced as he coordinated the fleet, exploiting weaknesses the enemy never expected. He was not just fighting a battle. He was rewriting the rules of war. As a human destroyer unleashed a concentrated beam, the warlord's command core exploded in a blinding flash, sending shockwaves rippling through the fleet. The enemy's forces faltered, their morale shattered. But in the silence that followed, a new threat emerged. Shadowy figure clad in dark armor appeared on Reeves' comm channel, voice cold and mocking. "Commander Reeve, you've done well to come this far, but the galaxy is not yours to claim." Reeves' fingers tightened around the console. "Then come try and stop us." The screen went dark. Back on the bridge, tension hung thick. "Who was that?" the tactical officer asked. Reeves' eyes narrowed. "Our future enemy." The galaxy had thought humanity weak and disorganized. Now it faced a force that was calculated, relentless, and terrifyingly united, and the dance of death had only just begun. The room was swallowed by shadows. Flickering holoscreens cast ghostly glows on the faces of those gathered in secret, humans and aliens, alike each cloaked in tension and distrust. Commander Reeves stood silently at the edge, his gaze sharp beneath the hood of his jacket. Around the table, whispered voices exchanged fragmented rumor stales of human biological enhancements, mental capabilities pushed beyond natural limits. Whispers of hybrid soldiers, engineered in hidden labs, blending science and survival into something almost unnatural. An alien delegate, a lithe Allery named Veshra, leaned forward, voice barely above a breath. "Are these tales true? That your species has crossed boundaries no one dared approach?" Reeves' eyes met hers steadily. "What you've heard is only part of the story." The room stiffened. A human scientist, Dr. Moran, stepped forward, projecting a flickering sequence of genetic data and battlefield footage. "Decades of war forged us into what we are now: resilient, adaptable, and yes, enhanced. But every step was born from necessity, not arrogance." Veshra's multiple eyes narrowed. "And yet, fear spreads through the galaxy. Some call it cheating, others call it abomination." Reeves' voice hardened. "Fear is a weapon wielded by those too weak to fight." Suddenly, the holoscreens shifted. A grainy video feed interrupted the meeting. An explosion rocked a remote research facility on Earth's moonbase. Alarms screamed through the communication lines. "Sabotage," hissed Dr. Moran, eyes wide. "They know where we hide our secrets." The room erupted into whispered chaos. Who was behind the attack? How much had they lost? Reeve raised his hand, commanding silence. "This war is no longer just fought on battlefields. It's fought in shadows, in whispers, in lies." A chilling silence followed. Outside, unknown to the council, eyes watched. Infiltrators moved like phantoms, cloaked in invisibility fields. A lone assassin stalked the corridors, a blade forged from dark matter, humming faintly in their grip. The camera feed flickered another attempt on Reeves' life, thwarted at the last second by an unseen force. Back in the secret chamber, Reeves' words carried weight beyond the room. "We are no longer just a species. We are the storm they sought to avoid. And the galaxy will learn that some shadows are darker and deadlier than they ever imagined." The horizon was a wall of fire and smoke. The battered city of Kazari Prime lay under siege, its towering spires crumbling like sandcastles beneath relentless bombardment. The sky churned with dark clouds, pierced by streaks of enemy fire and the deafening roar of explosions. Human soldiers stood firm along shattered barricades, faces smeared with dirt and blood. Commander Jeravas's voice rang out over the din. "Hold the line. For every inch we lose, the galaxy inches closer to chaos." The enemy forces pressed forwards like merciless raiders that moved like shadows, their weapons designed to dismantle both flesh and machine. But humanity was ready. Experimental weapons hummed with deadly power, gravity disruptors warped the battlefield, and unseen drones flitted like ghosts among the ranks. Amid the chaos, Captain Elias Wren coordinated the fleet's orbital support, target their supply lines, cut off reinforcements. His voice was steady, even as the city below trembled. The siege dragged on, a brutal test of endurance and will. Every street fought over was soaked with sacrifice, every victory earned through grit and innovation. As night fell, the city's defenses flickered, but hope remained unbroken. Suddenly, a signal pierced the radio statica transmission from a mysterious source deep within enemy ranks. "Alien defector," Elias muttered, eyes narrowing. The message carried intelligence that could turn the tide, but trust was fragile back on the ground. Jera's squad moved cautiously through the ruins, wary of traps and spies. The defector's information hinted at a secret weapon hidden nearby, something capable of breaking the siege entirely. Tension coiled like a spring. Would this gamble pay off, or plunge humanity into deeper peril? From the shadows, unseen eyes watched, calculating the next move in a deadly game. The dawn broke over the ruins of Kasari Prime, casting long shadows across the charred skeletons of buildings. Smoke still curled into the pale sky, mingling with the first rays of sunlight that caught on twisted metal and shattered glass. Survivors moved through the rubble like ghosts, faces etched with exhaustion but eyes burning with a stubborn fire. Commander Jera Voss surveyed the battered city from a makeshift command post, her jaw set hard. The cost had been staggering, but they had held. Now, amid the ashes, humanity faced a new battle, one of healing and resilience. "We rebuild," Jera said quietly to her officers, her voice steady but heavy with meaning. "Not just the city, but our resolve." Around her, medics tended to the wounded, engineers worked to restore power, and civilians gathered what little they could salvage. Every step forward was a testament to human tenacity, but beneath the surface, a darker storm brewed. Whispers of dissent rippled through the ranks, fear that their victories came at too high a price. Rumors of a covert faction within humanity itself, willing to reignite war to seize power in the shadows of the ruined city. A secret meeting convened. Faces shrouded in darkness exchanged plans laced with betrayal. They saw the fragile peace as weakness, a chance to reshape the galaxy through fire and blood. Unbeknownst to them, Commander Reeve listened from a nearby station, his expression unreadable. The war was far from over, not just between species, but within humanity's own soul. As night fell again, a single transmission crackled through Reeve's console, a warning from a trusted ally. "They're moving tonight." The city held its breath. The war had scarred them deeply, but humanity's greatest test was just beginning. The dawn broke over the ruins of Kasari Prime, casting long shadows across the charred skeletons of buildings. Smoke still curled into the pale sky, mingling with the first rays of sunlight that caught on twisted metal and shattered glass. Survivors moved through the rubble like ghosts, faces etched with exhaustion but eyes burning with a stubborn fire. Commander Jera Voss surveyed the battered city from a makeshift command post, her jaw set hard. The cost had been staggering, but they had held. Now, amid the ashes, humanity faced a new battle, one of healing and resilience. "We rebuild," Jera said quietly to her officers, her voice steady but heavy with meaning. "Not just the city, but our resolve." Around her, medics tended to the wounded, engineers worked to restore power, and civilians gathered what little they could salvage. Every step forward was a testament to human tenacity, but beneath the surface, a darker storm brewed. Whispers of dissent rippled through the ranks, fear that their victories came at too high a price. Rumors of a covert faction within humanity itself, willing to reignite war to seize power in the shadows of the ruined city. A secret meeting convened. Faces shrouded in darkness exchanged plans laced with betrayal. They saw the fragile peace as weakness, a chance to reshape the galaxy through fire and blood. Unbeknownst to them, Commander Reeve listened from a nearby station, his expression unreadable. The war was far from over, not just between species, but within humanity's own soul. As night fell again, a single transmission crackled through Reeves' console, a warning from a trusted ally. They're moving tonight. The city held its breath. The war had scarred them deeply, but humanity's greatest test was just beginning. The sky above Kasari Prime tore open with fire. Alien warships descended like vengeful gods, their weapons blazing in fury. The ground trembled beneath the thunderous roar of explosions, and the city already broken was thrown into chaos once more. Commander Jeravas stood amidst the rubble, eyes blazing with defiance. Beside her, Commander Reeve coordinated defenses with relentless focus. The traitor's coup had been crushed, but the wounds it left still bled deep. "Hold the perimeter," Jera shouted, voice cutting through the storm. For humanity's future explosions rocked the barricades, sending debris flying. Human soldiers fought with a desperate courage, born of survival, knowing this battle would decide their fate. In the heart of the city, Reeve faced the alien flagship's assault with tactical brilliance and unyielding resolve. He directed counterstrikes that carved through the enemy's advance like a storm, but victory came at a cost. A devastating blast shattered the command center's mainframe. The lights flickered. Systems failed. Reeves' voice cracked over the radio. "Fall back to secondary positions. We will rebuild." Outside, the alien fleet faltered, their arrogance shattered by humanity's resilience. As the dust settled, the surviving defenders gathered beneath the battered flag of Earth. Wounds ran deep, but their spirit burned brighter than ever. Commander Jera's voice rang out, steady and clear. "We were underestimated. We were dismissed, but we stood together." Her gaze swept the weary faces before her. "The galaxy will remember this day not as our defeat, but as the moment humanity rose." The moral was clear: underestimating the quiet strength of unity, resilience, and unyielding hope could bring even the greatest empires to their knees. And as the stars watched silently above, humanity's flame burned fiercer than ever, ready to reshape the galaxy's fate.